Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a new series of Darts Actueel.nl. This is Meet the Debutants. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the second episode of Meet the Debutants, a series on the YouTube channel from Darts Actueel.nl. Today we have a new guest. He is the South African qualifier. He will be on the World Championship for the first time in his career. It's Carolissen. Cameron, how are you doing today?
I'm great. I'm excited, and just to you guys, thanks for having me on this channel.
Well, thank you for being joining this YouTube series. I think not many darts fans know you already. So let's introduce yourself. Like, what's your age? What's your what are you doing for job? Where are you living? Things like that.
Cool. So my name is Carolissen. I'm 24 years old. I come from a small village off Mitchell's Plain called Strandfontein, born and raised. I've been playing darts for 12 years competitively. So I was 12 years old when I started playing. Coming strong into the junior ranks here in South Africa, as well as the senior ranks as well. And I am currently unemployed as I lost my job due to COVID. So I made use of that time to basically focus on my darts more and try to improve it and just really work hard at it and just waited for whatever big opportunity came. I said, all that hard work and effort that I put in, I'm going to grab it with both hands.
Yeah, well, we're going to talk about that, the World Championship, especially in a bit. You said you already started playing darts at 12 years old, which is a really young age. So you certainly know the South African dart circuit. Can you tell us a little bit about that start of your darts career? Like, at what moment? At what moment did you got in contact with darts, and when did you decided to take it more seriously on the youth level?
Look, I was about like 6 years old, and my dad played darts, and his friends, my aunt played darts. So I had, at that age, I had like my own little board on my height, which was like slightly lower, and I was throwing, and then like that 6 years, it was like just throwing, and whenever they went to darts, I went with, and I was always one of the little kids running around. Then came one night, they needed a player for the team. My dad said, pick me. I was super excited. Went out there, went to go start my stuff. Was nervy at first, but eventually I pulled through. So it was like a team game event. We played like a main game. We played a doubles. We played a single. I won my doubles with my dad. And I ended up winning my single event as well, which was like a simple best of three. So it was big for me, seeing it was my first competitive game. Still today, I remember it very clear, which is the 1st of April to be exact, in 2008. Wow. And, ever since that day, I actually got the feel of what darts is actually about, in terms of becoming competitive, meeting new people. And as the years went on, they told me about the levels in terms of the junior rankings and so forth, representing my club level, district level, all those different levels on the amateur base. And it got me excited. And I mean, through my 5 years playing it, I've won 4 youth single titles. And the 1 year I lost it, I came the runner-up. So I got 5 finals. I got about 3 player of the years. So that made me realize, hey, I was really good. And a lot of people also praised me for the way I've played the game and, my counting ability as a young junior. Mm-hmm. And, as I was speaking towards the end of my junior phase, I started looking at the senior phase, and I said, okay, that's the next step. That's what I want. And, I always dreamed that I wanted to go play on the big stage, and I'm just grateful that it came sooner enough at the age of 24.
Yeah, well, it's already a great story right there. Let's talk a bit about that youth circuit. You've been there in that circuit from a young age.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you explain us a little bit how is that built in South Africa? Are there different youth leagues maybe, or is it just playing among the adults at a young age?
Look, we do got youth leagues here in South Africa. During my time, it was really competitive. I mean, when I used to go to the youth games, we were about almost close to 40 youth players playing against each other. So, like I said, we represent something called inter-districts here in South Africa. So, as a junior, you need to represent your club, all right? And then you go play at your inter-district and represent your inter-district at the provincial games that they host. And
Mm-hmm.
then once you compete there, out of like say 30 to 40 juniors, they only pick like 2 girls and 2 boys, and they then represent something in South Africa which we call provincials. So it's like the Cape Town, Gauteng, Durban, so all the places within South Africa. And then we go compete at the national championships, which is the South African annual event. And then we compete over there for our SA colors to represent our country to go play at African Championships as well as World Cup, WD World Cup, which they host every 2 years. So that's basically how the circuit is run with regards to the juniors.
Well, I mean, to me, it already sounds like a pretty sophisticated circuit. Yeah, we know South African darts has always been a great place for darts players, and it certainly is on the rise with the rising like games of Devin Peterson as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, how important are those South African players? For example, Devin Peterson, of course, but also the other players on the World Cup of darts and some South African players on the World Championship. How important were they for you to like experience and see? Wow, I can go and be at their level as well, and go to the big stage as well. It is possible for a South African darts player to do that.
Look, coming. Speaking of the likes of Devin Peterson, I mean, even me still being in the junior ranks, that's how long I know Devin. We both played for the same association back in the day, which is called Mitchell's Plain, the hometown where Devin is from, and I had about 1 or 2, 3 practices with Devin when I was like 14, 15 years old. So that meant a lot to me, because I knew, hey, this is this, he's one of the big names in darts, and I'm this young kid. People saw me up and coming, and I get to practice with someone like that, which was great. And also to see that, a lot of top players in our country get to go out there and go to the World Cup and represent our nation. It's inspiring for me as a person because in South Africa we have something called a green blazer. So that's like your biggest accolade you can achieve here in amateur darts. So that's something I've always wanted, my South African blazer, and it's something I've strived for. I haven't achieved it yet, but um, I mean, this is the first time I'm actually going to like represent my country now on the pro circuit. But I've never really went to a World Cup or represented South Africa in any of those levels. But it never stopped me from achieving my big goal because, like you've mentioned about the top players, I use those top players to my advantage because I know these are the guys that's making the teams. These are the guys you got to associate yourself with, and these are the guys that you got to beat. So year in, year out, I always tell myself, I gotta beat these guys. I gotta make sure I'm maintaining and like I said, becoming better than them because that's the only way I'm gonna get on top. Because it's hard work and it's a lot to sacrifice to come to an annual event and you give it your all and then you don't pull through and then the worst thing is about you gotta wait for it next year again. So yeah, players like that is very important to me. Speaking of those players, my own sister as well represented South Africa at the World Cup as well. She's South Africa's very first world champion. She won the youth girls singles at the World Cup, so she's our country's first gold medalist there. So it's big for us here in South Africa, as also for my family name, because we both come out of my dad's hands. So yeah, I mean, yeah, his son's going to the World Championship, and his own daughter's a youth world champion. So it's a lot of play for her, and it's big.
Well, that's awesome to hear, and great that your sister plays the dart and that you truly are coming from a darts family. Yeah, the likes of Devin Peterson, they are, or he is an ambassador for not only this sport in South Africa, but also Africa in general. Do you also
Yeah.
feel like you are representing your continent over there on the big stage in December?
No, for sure, for sure. I mean, going into this big tournament with myself and Devin being the only two now from not just South Africa, but the whole African continent is
Hmm.
big, you know. And Devin always speaks about, you know, part of his career is the African continent, you know, that big aspect that he's got to represent, you know, that whole continent that he got on his shoulder, that's his drive or his motivation. And that gives him the momentum to become better and to become great. And, you know, just to rub off from someone like that is actually great because knowing that Devon's been there, the only one representing in South Africa. Yeah, I'm coming along. You know, in the history of the PDC, there's going to be two people that's coming from the African continent as well as South Africa. So it's a case of like, you know, come on, Dave, I'm here with you. We can do this together, you know. So, you know, something like that, which is exciting. And, you know, I give Devin his due for what he's currently doing, his form, and what he's doing for the sport, and for us here in South Africa. But it's a dream come true, you know, and it's a start of many, not just South Africans, but people from all over Africa to actually show the world, you know, what we're truly capable of.
Hmm. Yeah, before we're going to fully focus on in yourself instead of Devin, and have you already got in contact with him? Like maybe you're sharing rooms or something. I don't know. Maybe some
Look,
advice from Devin.
I have been in contact with him a couple of weeks ago, but we do chat on something called WhatsApp. So we chat here and there, but just basically, you know, just him guiding me in a sense of like, you
Hmm.
know, I'm coming over. This which needs to be done because I've never been overseas before. It's my first time going overseas. So you know, just things with visas, how things are around in the UK, the PDC, and things like that. Because look, I understand Devon's currently playing tournaments now. He needs to. He's in a space of his career where he's a candidate to win the World Championship based on his form. And you know, he's a hardworking man. He got his own family. He's got a little kid as well. So I also tend to need to give him that as well. So it's a case of, hey, Dev, I know what you got to do, but you know, I know he's there to guide me, and we're just gonna keep it at that because as much as we're going there for Africa, I don't know if I might play against Darren Peterson or not, but we wouldn't want that. But yeah, we are gonna be there to support each other. But yeah, we are in contact, and you know, just small talk for now. Up until it gets closer to the time, I think we will basically, or maybe, you know, whip up something together. I might say.
Hmm. Well, that sounds good already. Yeah, let's talk about the tournament of, well, at least of your year at this moment of the recording. It is the African qualifier, obviously. You won it in October, and by that you qualified for the World Championship. Yeah, you defeated the good players over there in Cape Town. Can you bring us back to that day and well, to those 2 days actually? But how was that experience over there, and how did it feel to win that ticket to England?
Well, you know, like you've mentioned, the top place in Cape Town. When I looked at my draw on the knockout draw the Sunday, I was like, this is the toughest draw for the tournament. So I told myself, whoever's going to win this, I was in the top half. Whoever wins it, the winner's going to come out of the top half. That's what I said, and I was there. I mean, my first game. Okay, going into the tournament on the Saturday, day one. It was group stages. You know, we were about 8 players. There was 8 blocks, 8 players per block, and I told myself it's just 7 games. I don't care whether I'm first, second, third, or fourth, which top four go through. I just wanted to go through. It doesn't matter. So I ended up winning all my games. I topped the block, dominated for the Saturday, went home, got a good night rest. Came Sunday morning, and that's when I saw the draw. So my first game was a guy. that also plays with me back here at home in Mitchell's Plain. His name is Vernon Martin. He's a big 180 hitter, so he's got good power scoring as a player. He was my first game, so I told myself, get him out of the way, get settled in as soon as possible, and if because I was feeling confident based on my performance on Saturday, so I had that with me going in Sunday, and I beat him 6-2. Then my next game was two South Africans who both played on the world stage, which one partner Devon last year in the doubles, Vernon Bowers, and the other one played in 2015, Nolan Arendse. So they got each other in the first draw. So after winning my first game, I was either going to get Nolan Arendse or Vernon Bowers. And I was like, what? Look at this draw. But then again, I told myself, I'm feeling confident. I feel ready for these guys. And I said, I don't care about any one of those two. No disrespect to the player. I mean, they're good friends of mine and everything, but I'm here to win this thing. And I told myself, I don't need to play those guys. Those guys need to play me. So that was basically the difference, that mindset that I had. And I kept it with me to the end. I ended up playing Vernon Bowers. First to 6, led me 4-1. And I won the game 6-4. So I won 5 straight legs to come win the game. Finished off with a bull close on a 124. So I was just relieved. Got to the quarterfinal. I played Graham Folby. He also partnered up Devon in the World Cup of Darts for 2 years. So another tough opponent. First to 6, went down neck and neck, and then eventually I pulled off to win 6-4. Then in the semi-final, I played a guy called Mercy Masanda. He hasn't played on the big stage, but at that time he was the number one. You could say he was the number one ranked player on the online darts here in SA. He represented South Africa in the WDF virtual darts or the online. That game went to the wire, 5-5. And then the last leg, I just won him in the last leg. He couldn't get things going, and I just kept it simple and just calmed myself down. And final, I've played one of the legends of our sport, Charles Losper, also played on the big stage for 2 years. The game went neck and neck up until, say, 4-4. And I told myself, with a guy who has so much experience in the game, I didn't want to let him in or anything. And he's a big role model to me in the sport. He teaches me a lot, especially how to become humble and those type of things. And I said, come, let's push. And, I came back with a 15, a 13, and a 14 to win the game, 7-4. And when I closed at 112 to win the match, it was just I would think that's the best 32 I've ever closed in my whole darting career. It's such a huge relief. But for me to take out big names like that here in South Africa meant the world to me. It just, I told myself that, I can't be the best, or I can play amongst the best, and I can't beat the best, So, I'm just grateful, and I'm just happy that I can get an opportunity like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I cannot even imagine the joy you were feeling at the moment of that last final double. You've won against. I mean, it almost sounds like you played almost against all the South African legends and all the South African best players, but you came through and you won of each of them. Does that give you some extra confidence in going into the World Championship? Because you're realizing now that you can beat every South African player that has played on the world stage.
No, for sure.
Perfect answer already. We there were some South African players who tried to go fully professional. Obviously, Devon Peterson as the prime example. This December you will feel how it is to be a professional darts player. Are there any plans on developing yourself to become a professional darts player in the future? Are you going to play Q school and stuff like that?
Yes, for sure. So first step now for me is to get to the UK, play in the World Championships, play to the best of my ability, and just see how far I can go. And then, yes, I am going to go to the Q school in January because it's one shot I'm going to get. So I might as well grab it with both hands, and hoping if I won't say if this time I'm gonna say when I get my tour card. I'm gonna give it my all, and it's something I've longed for 12 years. So all that hard work and dedication, I honestly feel, I, I think it can pay off this time. And yeah, I'm just really excited.
Well, I think you're ready, and I think the PDC needs another South African player as well.
Definitely.
One question before we are going to the quiz about the World Championship. Yeah, what is your goal at your World Championship? Do you want to play? Of course, you're going to go for the win over there, but like, what would make you happy if you came back from South Africa from the World Championship?
Look, me going into the World Champs, I've told many people before. I said, uh, I'm not there to go focus on becoming the world champion or to go beat Michael van Gogh or Peter Wright or go and Price. My thing is this: it doesn't matter who I play, what the draw says. Um, I mean, these guys I can watch on YouTube or on TV, so I know their game. They don't know my game, and I feel that's one advantage I might have going into the World Championship, because no one really knows what my true potential game, because I haven't really seen it. So I'm going in there with that mindset, and to me, it's game by game, and that's it. So, but I would really be over the moon if I could win my first game at the World Championship. It will mean so much to me, because to be honest, if I win that first game at the World Championship, I'll dedicate it all win to the whole of South Africa. The love and the support that I got here back home, that's supporting me and wanting me to do well. So that's my goal. My goal is just to make sure I get over that first hurdle, to get comfortable, win that first game, and just take it game by game. Doesn't matter what the who might come. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I think anyway it will be an experience for life, no matter what the outcome will be. So yeah,
Definitely.
well, let's go to the quiz. 5 questions about
All right.
South African darts and um, just like South African darts on the World Championship and also on the PDC circuit in general. Um,
Yeah.
are you ready?
I'm ready. Go for it.
Awesome. Yeah, question number 1. Which South African players played on the PDC World Championship?
All
Can
of them.
you, all of
Okay,
them,
all
can
of
you
them.
name them?
Okay. Wynand Havenga, Charles
Yeah.
Losper, Devin Peterson, Sean Hogan, Charles Peterson, Graham Falby, uh, Nolan Ardenser, Warwick Sheffer, Liam O'Brien, Dion Oliver, Vernon Bowers, and I think the other one is Les Francis. Those are the guys.
Yes, you named a couple that played on the World Cup of Darts instead of the World Championship, but
Oh, is it World Championships?
yeah, doesn't matter. But yes, Les Francis
Les
was
Francis,
the
yeah.
last one that you were
Yeah.
correct. So at the end, you knew all the players that played on the World Championship, so that's awesome. Question number 2. What was the best performance from a South African darts player on the World Championship? Was it
Okay.
A? Was it A, the last 64? Was it the last 16, B, or was it the quarterfinals?
Last 16, B.
Perfect. That was a confident answer. It was indeed the last 16 from Peterson, obviously in 2014 and 2019. And yeah, I think we can both agree that maybe this year Peterson will play even better and go even better
Exactly.
on that game. Yeah, let's go to question number 3. Who was the first South African player to win a PDC title?
Devin Peterson.
Ooh, it is. I mean, it all depends on what do you count for PDC title. But on my list, I have Warwick Sheffer on winning the Challenge Tour, a Challenge Tour event in 2017.
Oh, I forgot about that one. I do remember that, yes. I was
Um,
thinking of the German Masters, the recent one. But yeah, I do remember Warwick Sheffer winning the challenge, though.
yeah, it is like one of the lower divisions, but still counts for a PDC title. Yeah, do you know anything about Sheffer? Is he still active on the African circuit?
He hasn't been playing darts ever since he came back. He has recently lost his father last year. So, um, he just took a break from darts after he lost his dad. So, we don't really know not to say his whereabouts, but we know where he is. So I think he's just basically taking a break for now, and hopefully, by next year, I've heard that he might come back. So yeah.
Hopefully, it was a very talented player. So, question number 4: which player was the only non-South African darts player to attend the African World Championship Qualifier this year?
Okay, can you repeat that for me, please?
The only player that did not come from South Africa on the African Qualifier, the tournament you've won, obviously.
Oh, this year, David Nyemba.
Exactly, from
David
Zimbabwe.
Nyemba. That's correct.
He got into the last 16, I think.
Yeah.
Personally, I think he's a great example of how darts is also not only in South Africa, but also in other countries of
Exactly.
Africa.
It's moving forward.
Yes. The last question, you got everything correct, except question 3, of course, about Warwick Sheffer. Question 5, which player played most often with Devin Peterson at the World Cup of Darts?
With Devin Peterson. Outside it's Graham Folby?
Yes, exactly. He played 3 times for the South African team.
Graham Folby, yeah.
Graham Folby. Well, you did quite well on the quiz, and let's hope you're doing just as well on the PDC World Championship. Yeah, thank you for joining us, Cameron, and yeah, I wish you all the best in London.
Thanks so much, man. Thanks so much.